Alright, my audience. Okay. Okay. Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger was born on September 14th of 1879. Margaret Sanger was also the sixth of 11 children. She was born as Margaret Louise Higgins and was born in Corning, New York. Margaret's father was into politics and was considered a free thinker. It's believed that this, along with her mother's death, sparked her activism in the nursing field. At the age of 50, Margaret's mother died. Most people say that it was due to having 18 pregnancies, and of those 18 pregnancies, 7 of those being miscarriages. This angered Margaret to the point that at her mother's funeral, she was so angry at her father, she yelled at him, saying that it was his fault for her death because of all the pregnancies being stressful on her body. This also started Margaret's advocacy for birth control. In 1902, Margaret was a nursing student, and that's when she met her husband, William. William Sanger was an architect, and together they were both part of the Radical Party. Between 1902 and 1910, Margaret had 3 children, and also during this time, Margaret worked as a visiting nurse in New York City. She would write about women's health and sex education. In 1914, Margaret had published her first article, and it was called The Woman Radical. The government got whiff of this writing, and Margaret received a federal indictment, and she was advised that she should flee to England. While Margaret was on the ship from the United States to England, she had cabled to a publisher in New Jersey, who then printed 100,000 copies of her pamphlet called Family Limitation. While Margaret was gone, her husband had been arrested for handing out just 1 copy of her Family Limitations. Then when Margaret came back from England in 1915, she came back to face her charges. At that time, she found out that her 5-year-old daughter had caught pneumonia and died. The public felt sorry for Margaret, so they let her charges go. After all of this controversy, Margaret and her sister, Ethel Byrne, opened the very first birth control clinic in the United States on October 16, 1916. After only 9 days of being open, the police had to come shut down the clinic. The first of the 3 workers to be convicted was Byrne, Sanger's sister. Then Margaret Sanger served 30 days in jail, but the publicity of her activities only made the topic of birth control more popular, and then it was up to public debate. In 1952, Margaret founded the International Planned Parenthood Foundation. She thought that since all previous methods, such as condoms, were male-controlled, she wanted to put the choice into the hands of females. I personally respect this choice because I think females should have the choice as to if they should have children or not. Her foundation is now known as Planned Parenthood. Later in years, Margaret became less radical in her ways and started using terms such as family planning, opposed to her thoughts that poor were being manipulated into producing a never-ending supply of cheap labor. It was once said that when the history of our civilization is written, it will be a biological history, and Margaret Sanger will be its heroine. The main thing that Margaret taught us is that women do matter. The wonderful Margaret Sanger led a full life with 3 children and 2 husbands, but her full life came to an end on September 6, 1966.